Good evening, afternoon, and morning, everybody. I'm in Chicago, and this is the wonderful Veronique.
Hi.
Veronique is originally from
France,
and but lives here in Chicago, teaches and practices the system of Reiki, and so it's really wonderful to be in Chicago again. I really enjoyed it. Last night, Veronique organized a talk at the
Japanese Culture Center in Chicago, and that was an amazing experience, I have to say. And I was so happy to have Frans, accepting to come and present and sharing his wisdom and knowledge, and it was really fabulous to be together.
So you've been asked to teach at the Japanese center, the cultural center. So tell me a little bit more about it, because I found it very interesting, the system of Reiki, a Japanese practice, and
It's been an interesting experience, I have to say. I started to take some calligraphy classes in the fall at the center with Toyoda Sensei, with Oda Sensei. And he, one thing or another, I started to have more experience with the center, just love the center, love the arts, got into understanding also a little bit more about the Japanese arts and ways, and found so much commonality with the practice of Reiki that, knowing that you were coming this week, I thought it would be fabulous to have you talk there. And one thing or another, they expressed really interest in bringing training and, the practice at the center. And so we're not quite sure how it will look like.
Yeah.
But it's a first step, and I have to say it's just, amazing. I'm very excited. So we'll see. It's another adventure.
Yeah, that's great. So, one of the interesting things Veronique was sharing with me, that when she and another lady was talking about Reiki at this Japanese center, the organization of the center said, "No way, this is not Japanese."
Yes, that's right. So that was part of the process, and initially I was a little surprised because to me, a dojo it's just a very authentic place for such a practice. And when the lady came back to me and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm not quite sure, people are so much open to it," I was kind of surprised. And then as we talked, and then I did a presentation a few weeks ago, and so it seems that it's progressing, it's moving forward. And you came also yesterday, and I think that made a huge difference in changing the perception and of the practice. And then they realize how much this is truly a Japanese practice.
Yeah, I find very fascinating. When I first started to train with my teacher in Japan, Takeda Sensei, he also asked me all these questions about the system of Reiki, and he went to Japan, or he lives in Japan, of course, but he went to a Japanese Reiki teacher and did Reiki 1 and 2, and he was very disappointed. And he said, what they're teaching is not Japanese. He said, even that they're Japanese people, they have no understanding of the Japanese culture or where it comes from. It's very modernized. And this for me is when you said, because
there's resistance internally.
Yeah. So when I went to this Japanese cultural center yesterday, you could feel the authenticity of it, and I can understand then when they see the more modern style of the system of Reiki. Sometimes people say, Western and Japanese, but there's a lot of people in Japan who teach a modern way of the system of Reiki, and that they feel a bit of an objection and say, hey, this is not really has anything to do with the Japanese culture or aspect or philosophy, and
also how it integrates with martial arts and different arts, like tea ceremony and calligraphy and all those traditional arts that they teach there. And you did a beautiful job at just, tying this in.
Well, for me, it's all one and the same thing. And I was saying to Veronique, I started karate. Anyway, I'm not sure if I keep continuing, but it's hard to get that rhythm going in karate. But anyway, the teacher in Holland, he teaches actually karate for the Dutch Olympic karate team. So he's really high up. I actually know this guy when I was 16 because I practiced karate at that time. He's 60 now. And so he's been practicing karate since he was 14, now 60. And on the mat, we had to do this throwing. And it was a little bit difficult. So we called the teacher over. His name is Rene. We called Rene over and said, oh, can you show us? And he said, okay, I'll show it on Frans. And he did this throw. And I thought, man, this is like a healing. Yeah. And so I asked him again, I said, can you do it again? And again, I felt like it was a healing or like a redo, like an initiation, empowerment. And then I said, can you do it again? And again, he did. And then later on, I was having a little drink and he came over and he said, Frans, why? There was something in, why did you ask it a couple of times? Yeah. And I said, for me, it was like Reiki. For me, it was like treatment, a redo, a blessing. And he was saying, I said, look, I saw you going into this oneness, interconnectedness space. There was no difference between the thrower, the person who's being thrown, and the throwing itself. And in that space, then it's up to me to see what's happening. And it was just wonderful to see that similarity, you know, and that I think is the beauty we can see in calligraphy, we can see in tea ceremony. If we think that Reiki is something different than tea ceremony and calligraphy and martial arts,
right, then we're missing something.
Absolutely. We're missing the Japanese point. Right. And it's the essence of it is so beautiful. Yes, it's a different expression, but the essence of it is exactly the same thing.
Yeah, well, all those ways are an expression of the way.
Lovely
it's a universal principle. So, and there are many expressions of it.
Yeah.
And,
I think this is also why you see, these traditional martial artists doing tea ceremony or calligraphy or writing poetry or doing healing, because they realize it's the same. It's one and the same thing.
Yeah. And also understanding that they are doing those practices that are part of the daily life.
Yes.
Which I found that beautiful. And, it's only recently that I truly became more aware of that.
Yeah. I think this is another thing, we see Reiki is something we do on a table or we might do on ourselves, and we don't really see it as daily life. But traditionally in Japan, Reiki was a do, and the art of daily life, the art of living. Yeah. And same as martial arts, calligraphy, tea ceremony. Again, if we see it as something, now it's tea ceremony, now it's not, now is martial arts, now it's not, then we're mistaken. Right. But all these arts are there to awaken the art in daily life. Yeah. And that is such a beautiful way of, being at a Japanese art center, the cultural art center, where you can really feel that and taste it. And
the authenticity. At the same time, as you pointed out also yesterday, the dojo is wherever you are, right?
That's it.
It's not just one place somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not just maybe Japanese or, Western. It's really wherever you are.
Wherever you are is the dojo. I mean, this is, even, for example, the Dalai Lama, my temple is this, right?
Yeah, right.
The dojo is this. It's not some room somewhere. The dojo is this. And therefore, it's your practices in everyday life. And this is also, when we look at the precept, for today only is not, 9 to 5. No, today only means in every action we do today, we have to infuse Reiki. So Reiki becomes life becomes Reiki. Reiki is same thing. Everything we do is calligraphy, or everything we do is martial arts. Yeah. Then that is the juice,
right.
Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah. Wow, wonderful.
I know.
Yeah.
So we'll see next year.
Next year, see, yeah. So they're planning at the cultural center here, the Japanese cultural center in Chicago. They're planning more events with Reiki. They want to create an outreach program. They're really trying to do more with it. What is wonderful to see that.
To integrate the arts in the community.
Yeah.
Really, that's what they want.
Yeah, but again,
that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and that is what ultimately we have to do with martial arts, calligraphy, tear ceremony, not Reiki. Just on the mat, but in all we do, right? In our community. This is where the juice is, I think, as well, not just on the mat. On the mat or on our meditation pillow is the beginning.
Right.
But actually intertwining it with our daily life, that is where the beauty is, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the point.
Yeah. Particularly we can see it when we have kids or a husband or a wife, relationship, work, anything. Is the juice is there, not just on that pillow. Yeah, it's just the beginning. Yeah. Wow. That's fantastic. Yeah. It's great. And, seeing that integration.
Yeah. In every aspect of life.
So you've been practicing the system of Reiki for a long time.
A few years.
but maybe it's interesting. What do you feel it has brought you?
To the practice?
Oh, no, what it brought you in daily life? What do you feel the system of Reiki has highlighted or the value? Or
it's everything. I mean, I came to the practice a few years ago. I have children with special needs, as you know, and I was really looking for a practice that to help me really deal with and manage with the stress of life. And I started with meditation practice, and then I came to the practice of Reiki. I didn't know what it was, and I tried, and I really, I don't know, it clicked, with me.
Yeah.
And for me, it's really a way of life, for sure. I don't know what I would do without the practice. It has become something I do every day, whether it's, and it doesn't have to be like hours, of meditation, but I do different things during the day.
Yeah.
According to, it's just an awareness that this is the time, I'm going to do this, so whether it's breath meditation, whether it's hands-on healing, whether it's having lunch with a friend, it can be
absolutely, yeah,
and sharing, and connecting, and or walking my dog, in nature, and really infuse myself with everything. It has become something quite, you have the very, the time I spent at home in my practice. Yeah. And then it's everything else, and everything is integrated. So it's really hard to say what my practice is now.
but that is the beauty of it. I mean, again, I think, if we see Reiki or the system of Reiki just as merely hands-on healing, again, we're limiting ourselves. It's so much more. We have the precepts, we have meditation, we have the symbols, we have the mantra, we have Reiju, we have the chanting, we have the life of... of Reiki, and integrating that in all we do, then every action becomes healing. Or, if I think about Reiju, a spiritual blessing, if we translate it, that ultimately everything we touch becomes a spiritual blessing.
Right, yeah. Even eating. Right?
Even drinking some water, or if we do it from that right intent,
exactly.
That's why we're going to eat in a minute, because I'm hungry. So anyway, thanks for listening. We go off for dinner. I hope you all enjoyed this little chat with Veronique from Chicago. So if you're in Chicago,
come for a visit.
Go to the Japanese Cultural Center, and it's absolutely wonderful there. They practice all sorts of martial arts, and Veronique is coming to
Japan.
Yes, Veronique is coming to the Japan trip. We're doing in November. It's fantastic. I can't wait. We go with about 20 people to Japan to explore the roots of the system of Reiki. We actually also have a 3-day retreat there, what is very exciting. So yes, anyway, more on that later. So we might see you again when we do a live video from Japan. Konnichiwa. All right. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.